Hello, and welcome to Bigger Work Games unboxing video of the new Shadows over Innistrad's intro pack, Ghostly Tide. My name is Simon, and I'll be doing the unboxing today. So what we're going to do, open this new intro pack up. I'm going to assume you're watching this because you're new to the game, so what I'll do is I'll open it up, show you the cards inside, just give you a brief overview and just explain some of it to you. I'm not going to go in massive amounts of details, this is just to give you an idea of what's in there. So, in the intro packs, you get your 60 card deck, which I'll open up and show you the cards in there. And then you also get inside here a few more gubbins as well. So you get 2 booster packs, which is great for expanding your deck after you've played a few games. And if you are new to Magic, I'd suggest playing with this first before you start tinkering with the deck. You also get in here, which is taped down, if I can just break the tape, there we go. You get in here a leaflet, which explains some cool bits. So you get Unravel the Madness. So on one side of it, you get a little explanation of the story of Shadows of Innistrad, and the story of Magic is one of my favourite parts. So definitely have a quick read of that, and if you've got more interest, check it out on the Magic the Gathering website to read more of the stories. And then we flick it over, once you unfold it all, and you have the deck list. So there's 5 different intro decks, and I'll be unboxing all of them, so you can check out the rest of those videos later. I'm starting off with Ghostly Tide here, and this just shows you the deck list on here. So if you ever, do modify it with the cards or accidentally take it apart, you can rebuild it easily. And then it goes on to explain a little bit about the deck itself. So whilst that leaflet does that, I'm also going to do it for you as well. So here we go. So let's just find the catch on there, which I know is here somewhere. Aha! I was being blind and I missed it the first time. So if I can just easily rip into this. No, I can't. Wish they'd make these things a bit easier to get into sometimes. Aha! There we go. Brute force and or ignorance. Okay, so we're into the deck itself here. You've got a rules reference sheet here. So if you haven't been demoed the game and know the basics, start with this. But it is easier if you go into your local store and ask someone to show you how to play. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to introduce someone to Magic. So this just gives you a brief rundown on the different steps of the game, different steps of the turn, how to win. You also go to the website for the quick start. Or like I said, go to your local store and play some Magic there. So here we have the actual deck. So this deck revolves around 2 colours, blue and white. As you can see here, we've got the top rare card on the deck, so Drogskull Cavalry. So it costs 7 mana to play, so it's a big cost to play this. So 5 normal, 2 white. It's 4/4 creature, spirit, knight subtypes. It has flying, and whenever another spirit enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 2 life. It also has the ability where you can pay 4, and you get to put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield, which would then trigger his when a spirit enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 2 life. So this gives you the reason this card is on the top of the deck is because it just gives you a very quick explanation as to how the entire deck runs, and it's all about the spirits in this deck. It's all about showing you these ghostly apparitions and about getting these spirits into play. So you get 1 Drogskull Cavalry in there in a nice shiny foil. It's also an alternate art foil from the normal one, so which is cool. But you get 1 of those in there. We then have our other rare from the pack, which is from the intro pack, which is the Rattle Chains. So it's another creature spirit. It's 2 mana for a 2/1. Has flash. Flash means it can be cast at any time an instant spell could be cast. So you can play this not only during your turn but your opponent's as well. It has flying, as all spirits really should. When it enters the battlefield, target spirit gains hexproof until end of turn. So you can, for 2 mana, flick this into play and protect one of your spirits from being killed by your opponent, potentially, if they're targeting it with a burn spell or something. And you can cast spirit spells as though they had flash, so all your other spirits in your hand also become flash. Or in your graveyard or deck, but we'll worry about the ones in your hand, really. So that's your other rare, and again, it's just focusing on that spirit theme, and you get 1 of those. We have Seagraff Scab. If anyone's ever watched my videos before, you know I'm terrible at pronouncing things, I'm really sorry. So this is 2 mana for a 1/3 creature zombie. Now it has no abilities, which is referred to as a vanilla creature. It's just a decent 1/3 body, so it's a good blocker to have. And you get 2 of those in there. We have a Dauntless Cathar, 3 mana for a 3/2 creature human soldier. And she has the ability of pay 2, exile Dauntless Cathar from the graveyard, put 1/1 white spirit token with flying onto the battlefield, and you can only do this at any time you can cast a sorcery. Normally, creature abilities can be done at instant speed. This one, though, is saying it can only be done in your turn. So, put her into play. She's a 3/2, so she's got a nice, nice attack on her. Use it to swing away, but when she dies, you can still get utility from her because you can need to turn her into spirits. And you get 2 of those. Spectral Shepherd, 3 mana for 2/2. He's another flying, he's another creature spirit with flying. And he has pay 2, one of which is blue. Return target spirit you control to its owner's hand. So if you return a token to your hand, it just disappears because tokens can't exist except on the battlefield. But you could use this to, say, like one of your enter the battlefield effect spirits. You could use it to bounce it back to your hand and then play it back out again. So it's quite cool. You get 2 of those. You have a Niblis of Dusk, 3 mana for a 2/1 creature spirit with flying again. And it has Prowess. So Prowess is whenever you cast a non-creature spell, so an instant, sorcery, enchantment, or an artifact, or a planeswalker, if you have one of those nice shiny cards, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And that's each time you cast it that turn. So cast 3 spells in one turn, he's getting +3/+3 all turn. So you get 2 of those. We have a Reckless Scholar, 3 mana for a 2/1. It's a creature human wizard. And it has tap him to and then target player draws a card and discards a card. The reason this says target player, not just opponent or you, is that you then have the choice. So you could make your opponent draw a card and discard a card, which would be quite mean if they've only got 1 card in hand, so you're just effectively making them cycle their hand. But you can use this on yourself to not only gain extra draw from your deck, say you've only got land in your hand and you really need to get a creature, you can draw more cards. But also the discarding for Shadows over Innistrad ties into an ability called Madness, which is when a card's discarded, you can cast it. However, I don't think there's any Madness in this deck, but there might be in the boosters you get, for example. And you get 1 of those. So he's quite cool for later on. We have an Apothecary Geist, 4 mana for a 2/3 creature spirit with flying, and when he enters the battlefield, if you control another spirit, you gain 3 life. So this would be great with one that allows you to bounce the spirits back to hand, because then you can keep playing him out, keep gaining 3 life, as long as you have another spirit. There's 2 of those. Near Heath, Chaplain, 4 mana for a 3/1 creature human cleric with lifelink. 3 mana, exile him from your graveyard to put 2 1/1 white spirit tokens with flying on the battlefield. You can only do this as a sorcery. So this is effectively just a slightly more powerful version of the Dauntless Cathar. Lifelink's really cool though, so it's a weaker creature, it's only a 3/1. But hopefully you'll attack, gain the 3 life off the lifelink, deal some damage to your opponent, it'll get itself killed, and then you can get 2 1/1 flying spirits into play. So there's 2 of those. We have a Silent Observer, 4 mana for a 1/5, it's a creature spirit, and flying, so it's what's called French vanilla, because it has an ability that's a fairly standard ability, such as things like flying, and nothing else. So this is just a good creature to plunk down as a 1/5 flyer. It's just a really good body to have on the field to defend yourself with, and you get 1 of those. Emissary of the Sleepless, it's 5 mana for a 2/4 creature spirit. Flying, and when it enters the battlefield, if a creature died this turn, put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Cool. So again, more spirit production. Great if you do this in your second main phase. So you go to combat, say you have your Chaplain and your Dauntless, they get themselves killed, they go to the graveyard, then in your second main phase you can play an Emissary of the Sleepless, and then you're going to have like a small army of spirit tokens just massing on your borders. It's quite cool. We have Storm Rider Spirit, 5 mana for 3/3. Quite expensive for a creature that's just got 3 power and 3 toughness, but it does have flash. So you can, even if you don't have your one-off rattle chains in play, You can still flash a sim from your hand. Great if your opponent's flying in or just trying to hit you with a big nasty creature. You can surprise them with the Storm Rider. You get 2 of those. Onto the lands, so you get plains in there for all your whites. And you get islands in there for your blue spells. So lands aren't terribly exciting there, so we'll keep them over there. Then we're on to sorceries here. So we have Chaplain's Blessing. It's 1 mana, and you gain 5 life. Very simple, very white thing, just to gain life simply off of playing a spell. You can only play it on your turn, but it is only 1 white, so quite nice just to help keep you going. You got 1 of those. Essence Flux is a 1 mana blue instant. Exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. If it was a spirit, put a 1/1 counter on it. So you could use this before combat in your main phase to buff a creature, one of your own creatures up. It's also useful if your opponent targets one of your creatures trying to kill it. Say you've got your Rattle Chain or Drog Skull out. Your opponent targets it with a kill spell or a burn spell that's going to do enough damage to destroy it, or it gets locked into a combat that it can't survive. You can, what they call, flick it in and out because it exiles and then comes back, and bonus, it comes back even stronger. So you get 1 of those. Then we have Not Forgotten. It's a 2 mana sorcery. Put target card from a graveyard on top or bottom of its owner's library. Put 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying on the battlefield. So you get 2 things off of this card for 2 mana. So that's really neat already. And the benefit, I mean, you already know that putting a white spirit token into play is pretty cool. But the benefit of putting a card from your opponent's graveyard into the deck is they might have cards like yours, like the Dauntless Cathar and the Chaplain, who want to be in the graveyard and have better benefits. Or if your opponent has what's called Delirium, which is one of the new Shadows mechanics. So that's actually a very good, what they call, utility piece in this set. So you get 2 of those. Puncturing Light is a 2 mana instant. Destroy target attacking or blocking creature with power 3 or less. This is a very white colour spell, destroying only attacking or blocking creatures. They have to be a little bit low, so power 3 or less, but it's still useful to be able to have an option to remove your opponent's creatures. You get 2 of those. We have the Vessel of Ephemera. I'm going to go with that. 2 mana enchantment, so this, put it into play and it stays in play in front of you. And then you can pay 3 mana and sacrifice the Vessel to put 2 or 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying on the battlefield. So you can put this into play early on in the game, leave it there, wait until you get your guys that trigger from putting tokens into play, then you can drop 2 down straight away. You get 2 of those. Bound by Moonsilver, 3 mana for an enchantment aura, so this enchants a creature. So, as it says, enchant creature, it can't attack, block, or transform. That's important for this set because Shadows of Innistrad has transforming cards. And then you can sacrifice another permanent and then attach Bound by Moonsilver to that. Dropping things. Then you can attach Bound by Moonsilver to target creature. You can only do this anytime you cast a sorcery. You can only do it once per turn as well. So you can't just keep moving this around, and you can only do it in your turn, so you can't trick your opponent, unfortunately. This is really good. You can put it on one of your opponent's creatures. A few turns later, they play a big nasty thing. You can jump that onto it. So there's 2 of those. And we have Catalogue, 3 mana instant. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Drawing is always good. It's what blue does best, so draw 2 cards is fantastic. Yes, you have to discard a card, but as I said earlier, madness is a thing in this set, so you may even want to discard a card. So you get 1 of those. We have Deny Existence, 3 mana instant. Counter target creature spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. Oof, that's nasty. So countering a creature spell just stops your opponent putting it into play and it would go to the graveyard normally. However, this time it exiles it, and again this is good in Shadows over Innistrad because a lot of things rely on the graveyard like Delirium or zombies and spirits, so that's quite a mean thing to do to your opponent. We have 1 of those. Then we have Silver Strike, 4 mana instant, destroy target attacking creature, you gain 3 life. So there's no restriction on here on how much power the creature can have. It has to be attacking, however, but you do get to gain 3 life, so that's really neat. And then we have Sleep Paralysis, 4 mana enchantment aura. Enchant the creature. When this enters the battlefield, tap the enchanted creature, and it doesn't untap during its control's untap step. So this is really good if you haven't got a way, say Silver Strike or something, a way to kill your opponent's big nasty creature. You can just tap it down for the rest of the game and just make it completely and utterly neutered. And we have Pore Over the Pages. So it's a hefty 5 mana sorcery, but you get to draw 3 cards, untap up to 2 lands, then discard a card. So it effectively only costs you 3 mana in the end, because you get to untap 2 lands. And you get to draw 3 cards, which is a really good amount to draw, and again, discard a card, as I said, with Madness and Delirium and other graveyard shenanigans like dropping your own Chaplains or Cathars into the graveyard. That's actually not really a downside too much in this set. So yeah, that's all the preset cards in Ghostly Tide. In terms of this deck, it's all about getting what they call a white weenie strategy. So it's about getting your 1/1 white spirit tokens into play. So you can just effectively fly over your opponent's head with all these little creatures, death by 1,000 cuts, if you will. And then with the blue here, just adding a little bit of a control element, so you're tapping creatures down, letting you draw cards, countering spells. Just helps you to keep stable whilst you're getting those little creatures and help keep them protected. So overall, it's quite a good deck. It's a good way to start if you are interested in more of a controlling aspect, or you like the idea of like a little weenie army of spirits. So yeah, it's quite a cool deck, I think. I quite like this one. So, things they're here, let's crack some boosters. So, you get 2 boosters in each of your intro decks, and in Shadows over Innistrad there are also transform cards, so double-sided cards, so we'll get to those shortly. I'm not going to go through every card in the booster, so we've got the Vessel, Nagging Thoughts, Macabre Waltz, we have a Warped Landscape. That could be quite useful to put in your deck, which is, it adds a wastes. If you're not sure what that is, look that one up. I'm not going to try and explain it here, but it's effectively an alternative type of resource which is used in the previous set, Battle for Zendikar, but is now throughout all sets. And then pay 2, tap it and sacrifice it to put a basic land card from your library onto the battlefield tap. So good if you're running more than 2 colours really to help you filter through. Quisitor's Ox, Clip Wings, Sanguinary Mage, Byway Courier, Reduced to Ashes, Daring Sleuth. So these are the transform cards. So they've got this symbol here, they've got the sun and the moon sides. So these are 2 mana, 2/1 human rogue. When you sacrifice a clue, which are a new type of token creature in this set, you can transform him. He turns into Bearer of Overwhelming Truths. These are the clues, they're these cool little things. He becomes a 3/2 human wizard with prowess, as we saw earlier, and whenever he deals combat damage to a player, investigate. And investigate allows you to put a colourless clue artifact onto the battlefield, and it has the ability to pay 2 mana, sacrifice it, and draw a card. So each of the boosters for Shadows over Innistrad has this slot in for a transform card, and again the transform card could be common, uncommon like this one, could be rare, could even be a mythic. So it's quite cool. We have Draenau Corpse Trawler, Dissension in the Ranks, Tooth Collector, and our rare is Cryptolith Rite. So creatures, it's a 2 mana enchantment. Creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool. So that's quite useful, especially in formats like Commander, to be typical. And then you get a basic land, and we get a token. So we've got Ooze token in this one. So let's take a look quickly and see what was in the other booster pack as well. So we have Pieces of the Puzzle, Merciless Revolve, Inspiring Captain, Silverline Snapper, Run Heart, Might Be on Reason, Vorlon Duelist, Aim High, Dual Shot, Hinterland Logger. Cool, it's quite a nice one. Beginning the upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, you can transform them. The idea behind that being that they're out of sight, out of mind, and they can now transform. It turns into the Timber Shredder. So it turns into a werewolf. So 4/2 with Trample. But at the beginning of each upkeep, if a player casts 2 or more spells the last turn, it gets transformed back into the Hinterland Logger. And here is Machinations, and Liliana's Ignition, Crawling Sensation, and we have Port Town. So this is one of the new lands. So actually this would be perfect for this deck, so what a good pull. As it enters the battlefield, you can reveal a plains or an island from your hand, so if you have one of these in hand, reveal it. If you don't, it enters the battlefield tapped, but it has the ability over a basic land to tap for white or blue, so that fits perfectly in this deck. We also have the double-face proxy card and a clue, so that's quite cool. So this is one of the clue tokens. You can pay 2, sacrifice this artifact, draw a card. And the proxy cards are used for the double-face cards. So if I just quickly grab one, grab that as well. So obviously compared to a normal card, the double-face cards have pictures on the back. If you don't use sleeves, or you have sleeves for your cards that are particularly see-through or even transparent, you grab one of these proxy cards, mark on there which card it is, so in this case it's the Hinterland Logger. So you'd mark Hinterland Logger on there, you put that in your deck, and bravo, you now have a card that you can't see. So that's what the proxies are used for. And then you just keep this card to the side, and when you put this into play, you then just get to put that on the top of it and just flip in, use it as necessary. So cool. So yeah, that's a great pull from the booster Port Town. That fits perfectly inside that deck. Just gives you access to both colours, which is always a nice thing to have in a land. So there we go. That is everything in Ghostly Tide. So if you have any questions or would like to know any more, leave them below in the comments or send us a line, drop us a line, and I'll happily answer any questions you have for you. Other than that, I hope you've enjoyed watching. Check out my other videos. I'll be unboxing the rest of the Shadows over Innistrad intro pack. So if you're curious, take a look at those. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll join you next time. Bye.